Hello, welcome. I'm Helen, Authentic Discovery, and this is another episode of Speak Your Truth Conversations. We're here this week with the lovely Shakti Ji. First of all, thank you very much for joining us. If you'd like to like, subscribe, share, and all of that, then you can do so below. So I'm going to straight away go to say, Shakti, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, namaste. Hello, everybody. I'm Shakti. Nice to meet you online and finally talk properly.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Well, I'm an artist, so I create. And through my creations, I started a project called Space Connection. And what Space Connection is an art collective community. And we organize alternative and holistic events. So I'm a mindfulness practitioner and holistic therapist also.
Okay. So tell me more about Space Connection and where that name came from even.
Space Connection, well, it started in Dharmasala, in Dharmakot, in the Himalaya when I was in India.
Okay.
The name came from a song. It's called Chai Chilam Chapati.
Okay, I don't know.
From a band called Super Deluxe. And one of the lyrics is Space Connection. And it was a funny thing me and my friends traveling used to say to each other. So it became the name for the space that I rented in the Himalaya. Okay. So it was the Space Connection. We have the connection. And, you know, a lot of things can be taken from this name. I like to join, be the connection between all the space, you know, bring people together.
So you're very much so I hear that you're very much into collaboration.
That's it, yeah. So I've been doing a lot of collaborations with different people, just for the spice of life. I don't know it all. All I know is that I know nothing. So I love to seek out creative talents, artists, musicians, yogis, healers, anyone with a vision, anyone at all who has something interesting to say or sing or do. And then we will create a workshop or an event, or we'll show up at a festival. Okay. So.
And you do that where? I will ask you later for your contact details, but where are you doing that now? Is that, especially with all of the restrictions, is it online? Is it, and you said you have a space, so I'm thinking a physical space. So
yeah, I have a physical space. So Space Connection HQ, our headquarters, is in Tralee, County Kerry, Ireland. And I have been working out of there for the last year.
Okay.
Before that, I was moving around a lot. Well, right before that, I had a baby, so I was very quiet for a few years. But before my son was born, I was moving around, and Space Connection was coming with me. So I've traveled the world, and where I would be, I would create space.
Okay, so you say that you've traveled the world. I'm really intrigued to find out what motivated or inspired you to start your travels, not Space Connection so much, but what was the motivation behind the travels, and where did you go? What did you learn? The questions follow on to the questions. So just talk to us about your travels and what motivated and inspired you to travel.
Well, I suppose my inspiration was my parents. They traveled a lot and we were very lucky. So they brought us places, you know. And my dad was moving around with his job a lot. So we were moving around Ireland, and moving was very natural. We were working at the horse races, so we were kind of on the go. And the first time I left the country, I was 9 and I went to the USA. So I was bought and sold after that. I just wanted to go. I knew that you could get on a plane and go somewhere, and I wanted to see it all.
And so, have you? Well, you haven't seen it all, but where have you seen? Where have you seen?
I went to like over 30 countries, I suppose about 35 countries. I was doing the travel map thing, And I think I marked like 400 cities kind of thing in 35 countries. And but I would stay in places for quite a while, and I would be back and forth quite a bit, quite nomadically, you know, lots of different stories, lots of different adventures. But what really motivated me in my adult life to go was I just had so many questions, and I was getting lots of prophetic dreams, like messages in my dreams. And I had it in my head that I wanted to find a shaman, and that, you know, he was going to help heal me.
Okay.
So I suppose I found myself in my travels, and you know, lots of people helped me, but ultimately I ended up healing myself.
I wondered
So
if you were your own shaman when you said you were looking for someone, a shaman to heal you. My
yeah,
first thought was
I think
you
maybe
have to become your own
I was looking
shaman on
for,
that.
yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, I probably was the person I was looking for, yeah.
And
But
you found
apart
you.
from that, you know, getting all these kind of mad dreams, like I had been in many places, so it wasn't unusual for me to kind of jump on a plane spontaneously on my own and go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose eventually I made it to India, and how I went to India the first time was I literally had a dream. I had a dream about Rishikesh, and I woke up with this word Rishikesh in my head. I'd never heard of it before, and I had to Google it. And I've been doing yoga for a really long time, and at the time, and I wanted to be a yoga teacher. And I Googled it, and it turns out Rishikesh is the yoga capital of the world, and it's in India. And I got on a flight 2 weeks later, and I went there. So that kind of stuff.
What would you say you have learned most about yourself then?
What I've learned most about myself while I was traveling was, I suppose, my independence and my bravery. And I kept kind of breaking my own boundaries and pushing my own limits. And I've become very strong and streetwise because of it. I learned that strangers are just friends we haven't met, you know, and that we have something in common with everybody.
Mm. Mm.
So I'm just very intrigued by people. So I
Yeah.
talk to anyone.
Yeah, that's it's one of my you know, I've been struggling today, and one of the things I've been struggling with is I really think people are beautiful and divine and fabulous, and we've each got our own talents and things. And today I'm really struggling with the complete compliance and loss of self and I'm finding it very difficult to not just, you know, I think the words I said to my husband today, I've never said these words in my life actually, which was, you know, you know, if Christ died on the cross for all of us, but all of us should, you know, it doesn't look like all of us are worth it. And as the words came out of my mouth, I was horrified by that thought that was in me, that there was people on this planet that I just thought, you know, no. And it's so alien to me to think like that, because I just think there's wonder in all of us, and beauty in all of us, and I'm finding it very difficult right now. But anyway, that's my own struggle.
Okay, but I think that's the human in us. We're just human,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and that emotion might pass later. Like you'll look back on this in a few days and go, "Oh right, well maybe that's why it came up and this and this." So you know,
Yeah.
just
I don't like when things like that come up at all. I think I'm not that I'm too old. That's not the thing, but you know, looking at my life, although I've never, and none of us have, in all fairness, we've never lived through such a collective suppression before. So I suppose I am going to find new things and feel new things that I've never felt before, as we all are, I would imagine, because this is quite a strange time, I find. What took you to Tralee?
I'm from here.
Oh, that's where you're from?
Yeah, I came home. I came home to have my baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Okay.
I
Well,
was
that answers that
gone for
question
such
very
a long
quickly.
time. I was gone for so long that most people thought my parents only had two daughters, not three. So um, I was the
How so,
nomad prodigal daughter.
on your travel, within your life, and it sounds as if you've had many amazing experiences, and I'd say you've had challenging ones as well. But is there a moment, an experience, a moment that you will never ever forget? And preferably the first one that came to your mind. I know you're a mother, so us mothers can tend to go to the birth of my child.
The first thing that came to my head, well, my son, when
Yeah,
I
no, as I think I think that's just it's not, I shouldn't say it's a go-to, but it is. Somebody says what's the most amazing thing, having a baby, because everything changes. But
it does.
absolutely everything does. But outside of that, and even
Yeah.
we will go back to that as well, but is there another moment within your life that you will never forget, that will never, that you know, that's it?
Yeah. There's many, and there's a lot come to mind right now. But my travels, my travels. It's funny because the first thing that came to mind was my son. But if I go back a little bit, and the next thing that came to mind was I was after traveling a lot, and I was like, I was really lucky. I was really privileged that I'd seen so much. And I remember standing at a waterfall in Sri Lanka,
Oh,
in,
wow.
in Ella, in the mountains. And I had just been to this Buddhist temple. It was like 5,000 years old or something. Then we were totally guided to go. I didn't know where I was going on the motorbike, and we found it randomly. And after that, it really hit me that, I had just seen and done so much, and that I was ready to be a mom now.
Oh,
I I had experienced so much that the next ultimate had to be, birthing a child and becoming a mother. And
wow.
that was such a flip for me because I never wanted children before that moment. So yeah, well, that's what come to mind. And I
Oh
suppose
my gosh.
like mothers will know, like your baby, when you have your first baby, it just switches everything. It's such a transformation. And it's hard to even remember when I wasn't a mom, to be honest.
I know the feeling. I have four now. They're all grown, and my eldest has just had her first child. But it is that there's life before, which I vaguely remember. I was 27 before I had my first child, so I was quite happy and I'd travelled a bit and whatever. But having the first child, everything changes. Just everything changes. Nothing's the same. And then now that I'm in that grown stage, my children have grown and flown, and everything about my body and everything is changing. And now it's like, okay, so what's the purpose now? What's the point now? What are you doing now? Because they give you such a sense of purpose,
Yeah.
being a parent, irrelevant of how whether you take it seriously or not. I presume if you don't take it seriously, there is still that sense of, I have someone to take care of. I have something to do that's incredibly important, and then that goes. So it's quite interesting. But I'm kind of fascinated by the fact that your moment was parenting, was becoming a mother, and yet the moment that you will remember the most is when you made that decision to become a mother as well. So that's quite a profound connection. So the mothering aspect, and what has motherhood then given you, done for you? What is motherhood, and how has it impacted on your life for you?
Oh, well, it's just, as I said, it's so transformational.
Mm.
So I become a different person, or the same person evolved, becoming more like woman, you know, and with such a purpose and a different perspective now, because you know, you have this little being that is fully reliant on you. And yeah, it's absolutely changed my world. I had to sacrifice my whole life, what I knew of living out of a backpack and going anywhere I wanted at any time, and the freedom and independence of it, to be like this, you know, like a gypsy who was confounded by these walls for a few years, and I had to be quite still.
Yeah.
So that was transformational, because I have this gypsy spirit, you know, I like to move. I'm really, really happy to be on the go.
Yeah. I can
So to come
identify
back
with
into
that.
the house, like I had rented houses and stuff, but I was always moving. To come back into a house and be in one place, that was so transformational. And to just watch my baby grow, he's my best teacher,
Yes.
you know, my guru.
Especially if you want to learn about yourself. Children teach you aspects of yourself that you never knew you had, and some that you wish you never knew you had.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, it was the sacrifices that I chose to make. I chose to have him, and I chose to have him alone. And I knew on the day that I was making that choice that he, you know, that's the way it was going to be. It was going to be the two of us. So I committed my life entirely to him.
oh wow.
Because it's a gain.
Sorry?
It's not that I actually had to sacrifice my life. It's a gain. I gained so much. And we travel together a lot. My son has traveled 5 countries in his
Oh
3 years.
wow. And how old is he?
3.5.
He's been more places than lots of adults.
So he's great on the go as well.
Oh, I'm going to come back to the artist aspect of you. Are you what is your art form of preference for yourself? Is it music, dance, drama, art? You know.
I suppose a bit of all of the above. I had been in acting school for 12 years, and I was very much wanted to be an actress. And I did lots of kind of performance shows and lots of theatre.
Mm-hmm.
So then that kind of went on to, like, I was painting a lot and creating, but I must say I had quite a block in the creating, in the drawing side for quite a while, and it wasn't fully kind of unblocked until I was in India, and I was getting more confident to create. I think I used to compare myself to like the best, like Van Gogh. Well, I'm never a Van Gogh, so I'm not going to show anybody. So I had to break through that barrier. So I do enjoy to draw, and what I draw is quite sacred geometry,
Okay.
quite intricate mandalas kind of thing. And then my creation, I suppose my favorite medium is photography. So I take a lot of pictures.
Okay, lovely. I'm curious to know more about all the different things, but I think that's a conversation for another time. Oh, my question is completely gone that I was going to ask you.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it is. This does happen. So tell me about because we're in these current restrictive times, and initially it was going to be a short period, and it's forever expanding. How has the restrictions, how has this impacted upon your livelihood, your life in general, in terms of the projects that you had and what you were going to be doing?
Oh, massively. I mean, it's turned our world upside down, like everybody's. This year it's just like one surprise after the next. Now, on one hand, I wasn't that surprised this was happening, because I feel there's a big agenda behind this, and it's something I've researched for a couple of decades. So there's a lot makes sense to me. And then there's a lot of surprises. as long as far as my space connection and my work, we had to close shop. So we had to bring everything online. But it's an event business, so all events are cancelled for a year.
Yeah.
I had organised a festival called Origins Arts and Music Festival for Tralee for 3 days in June. And it had taken me 10 months to organise. It was with the Arts Council and the County Council and big street art festival. We were going to paint 10 walls and we had to get permission for all of this. And we had a huge lineup. I mean, we had Blind Boy come in, we had Hypnotic Brass Ensemble, we had Cooks But We're Chefs, lots of really cool guys coming. Huge lineup. And we had sponsors, and we just had to cancel it overnight. It was devastating, you know.
Yeah.
And it was going to be quite an alternative conscious festival. So we weren't promoting alcohol, we were promoting wellness. Okay. And it with the real vision to bring healing and unity to the town and raise the vibration. And by painting all the walls and with the top street artists in the world, like Chris Dwyer and Marcia Mix and Kia Mex and all of them, they were going to make our town look amazing. And that would have really raised the vibration of, you know, we have lots of battles. Ireland has a high suicide rate. Yeah. Well, Kerry's suicide rate is 50% above the national average. Oh. So we were really hoping to try and combat something through the arts to combat this problem we have, and to bring the community together.
Yeah, and arts are so powerful to do that. They're such a beautiful way. It's one of the questions I've been asking, not so much about visual art, but within music. I'm wondering where the soundtrack is to this time. There doesn't seem to be a soundtrack for me. Yeah. And there's no comedians speaking out about it. I find it, you know, if I think of anything that's ever happened in history, there's been a soundtrack to it, or there's been some sort of music that goes with the zeitgeist of it. There's nothing, and I'm finding that quite difficult. And it seems that it's my husband was telling me today that someone has a dance studio and they're not allowed to open, but the sports are. And I was like, because dance is expression, and it seems that any way that we express ourselves as humans, which is what we have done since we started painting on cave walls and dancing around fires, anything that is about us expressing ourselves together. And because sport's very regimented, you know, there's rules in sport, but there's no rules in the arts. There's, you know, and it's about just the expression of life. That has been completely suppressed. And I'm a drama therapist, and I've long, before I've done that, loved Boal and his political activism in setting up that theatre form, our Theatre of the Oppressed. I just find it fascinating that the arts are the thing that they're literally cutting our umbilical cord to our essence. The words won't even come out at how I'm so concerned, to be fair, and I'm trying very hard not to be concerned, to keep the vibration high, as you talking of vibration, and to keep it on a love thing. But because I train within the mental health sector, I'm absolutely devastated at what they're doing to us.
So you know, it's devastating. It's anything that will raise our vibration, anything that will
connect us,
process it, you know, all part of the plan. They want to break our spirit. Yeah. And this isn't a conspiracy theory. You just have to have logic and critical.
Sorry, I'm laughing because everyone's like, you're just one of those, and I'm like, no, the facts are now there. You know, this is not theory anymore. There's no theory to this.
You know, look, I have big faith that something really big and good is going to come out of all of this. We're in a time of a massive ascension and shift in consciousness, so that's undeniable, and it'll happen.
Talk to me more about the ascension. I've heard lots about it. And in all fairness, I'm not quite sure what it is. So when you say ascension, so you're not talking of a biblical rapture where some are literally taken, or actually, I shouldn't say that. What could you explain it to me and to anyone that's watching?
Yeah, I suppose the ascension is the great awakening, all these words, consciousness. It's just a state of being. It's just raising your vibration, raising your frequency to get into a state of consciousness where you're healed. You're on a higher state of being. You know, you ascend, you evolve, you rise up. That's how I
It's
believe it.
just I hear so much about it, and I've read so much. Well, I haven't read so much about it, but I keep hearing about it, and this, and I'm like, is this sort of like literally aliens coming to take us away? Is it the rapture coming to take us away? And I've become quite like, I don't really, almost frightened to ask. So I'm really glad that I've asked you now, because
I think it's quite an internal thing, and it may be different for everybody.
okay,
But the rapture you speak of,
yeah.
maybe the rapture is just these huge. So if you follow the Schumann resonance depicts the frequency of our planet, normally around 7.4, which is Om. You know what they say, Om. And it's been going up and down. We'll be getting all these spikes of energy hitting our planet. You can say that will assist with ascension. So maybe that's the rapture, but I don't think this is something outside of us. I think this, so the way I see what's going on right now, collective and worldwide ancestral trauma being healed and being brought up to the surface, ascending. And it's been brought up for a reason. Like, we have a choice now. We have a choice whether we want to end the suffering. Do I want to keep on suffering, or do I want to actually ascend?
I know what I'll choose.
Yeah. And can we just go back to what you said about the art?
Yes.
It's absolutely necessary at the moment. There's never been a stronger time in history where we need the artists. That's why I'm calling you guys. Call me. We can collaborate. And I find that artists are really good at creating, and they can be quite shy to promote their work. So give it to me and I'll promote it for you. We need to get it out there. We need to get the message out and come together, unite. Like, you see some artists are speaking. Van Morrison has come out with some songs.
I saw that. I haven't heard the song, but I've heard.
Neither have I, but I was happy to hear he did it. Yes. And there's a few like woke artists, awakened artists, they're talking, but like there's not enough. And it's just like the doctors, man, they're just like the artists maybe are afraid to talk. They're afraid to be heard. And that's all we need is liberation. And when we liberate ourselves, we don't be afraid to be heard anymore, We're not afraid to show our creations. So, and then also there's a huge collective fear. So if you're in the fear and you believe this virus is as deadly as they say, by the way, there's a 99% recovery rate, then, you're going to feed the fears. And maybe once the artists can even break through that themselves, then maybe they'll start writing more conscious art. But it's not to say that conscious artists don't exist.
No.
The artists have been trying to tell us this was coming for a really long time. If you listen to their lyrics.
I think if you are a creator, you are creating. I think this has been a wonderful time for people to get to the core of who they are. What is it that you don't have to be, don't need a motivational speaker to do? And I've been, you know, I heard that and I thought that makes sense. You don't have to motivate yourself to do what you love. So if you are a painter right now, you are painting. If you are a sculptor right now, you are sculpting. If you are a sports person, you are out doing whatever sporting, whatever it is that you are doing without being motivated to do it. That is what
Yeah.
you love to do. My heart goes out to those that are still quite suppressed under fear and not allowing themselves to express. But it's been something that I've watched of my own self. Once I heard that, I was like, okay, so what am I doing? What is it that I love to do? I enjoy doing this,
Mm-hmm.
talking with people, meeting with people. I love cooking. I love gardening. I love writing content. I actually have written two courses on well-being. So I know that those are the things that I love to do, because those
Mm-hmm.
are the things that I'm doing without being told to do them, or
Mm-hmm.
without being paid to do them, or, you know, and that. So I'm confident that singer and songwriters are writing songs. I'm just not hearing the soundtrack to this time. If I think of the Vietnam War, you've got all of that Motown and everything else. If I think of when I was just leaving school, it was punk and it was angry and it was energy. And then, you know, then you had hip hop with, is it hip hop with NWA and Public Enemy? You know, there's been music that has exploded at times when humanity has needed something, but I can't see, and I'm not hearing any comedians. I'm seeing, and it's comic gold. Some of the stuff that's coming out, you're like, is nobody really saying any how hilariously ridiculous this is? I can, like, right now we're sitting in Ireland, the two of us, and if we're to follow the directives, we can't even go and buy ourselves a clean pair of knickers if we need one.
You know, it depends what we're tuning into. Like, you won't find it on the mainstream, right? You're not going to find Britney Spears bloody singing about woke stuff. So you need to be looking on the alternative. And what I think is going to happen is there are artists out there, they're just not being heard, and they're probably being silenced. Like, I get shadow banned all the time. Nobody can see what I'm posting. They're silencing us.
Yes.
They're censoring us. So I have full faith that they do exist. Like, we have a great conscious artist, Sophia. She goes by her music name, and she writes really conscious lyrics. She's just come out with an album, and she's with the Goddess Gang. They're really conscious. They're making amazing stuff. They're over in the UK. Then we got a guy here, Sean Natuzzi. He's from the Tau Band, and he just released an amazing poem last night, all about the Madeline laundries. I'll post it later. I would have posted it, but I'm banned from sharing anything on Facebook at the moment. I can't even share another post. So Facebook jail for me. But I'll post it as soon as I can. But so there are out there are people, and I think just guys, please make it more visual, make it more. Can we hear you?
Accessible. We need to see.
Yeah.
I want to hear music. I want to sit in a theatre, or even outside. I like walk around theatre, so I don't mind. But I'd like to see some theatre. I'd like to hear some music, and I so want to dance at a festival.
Me too. Well, it's funny. I'm trying to talk the protesters into having a dance. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm so over protesting. Can we just play really good music and all dance around and raise the vibration and have a laugh?
Oh, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. But you're not organising that, because otherwise you may be fined.
No, I'm not. No, but I just think that, like, we need to celebrate life and each other, and it's just all about what we're going to feed. Now, I'm not in denial of what's happening. Like, we haven't really gone into it yet. I feel if we do, the vibe will go right down, but I don't want to ignore it either. Like, the same government who are locking us down in our country now and have taken away all our civil liberties and human rights. We can't buy babies' clothes. We can't buy, stuff for our kids for Halloween. They're the same guys who just sealed the Madeline laundry files for 30 years.
It's disgusting.
Like, how do people still trust them? There should be uproar. There should be a national protest because of that alone.
Yes.
And that should wake people up enough to say, hang on, what else are they lying to us about? We can't trust these people.
I know it is. Over the last few months, I've made a phone call to somebody and I said something and they went, pardon. I said, well, don't you know that there's a 99% chance of you surviving this? No. Don't you know that the masks that you're wearing are actually not fit for purpose? No. Well, what is it? How do you not know this? How do you not? And what I realise is, just like at the moment, I don't seem able to see the artists and hear the songs, is that everyone's reality is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is living in their own world, in their own space, in their own time, receiving what they're receiving, and it's just different. And you could literally, I'd always known this from my own childhood, that two children can go through the same family but have completely different experiences. But this is on a global scale. It's quite phenomenal. Anyway.
I'm trying to put it down to being on different radio stations, you know, we can hear like we're all singing songs at the same time, and like some of us are on 2FM and some of us are on Radio na Gaeltachta, and some people, you can't hear someone else's song if you're not on that frequency.
Very true.
We cannot hear each other.
Yeah.
They're singing about the masks will save our lives, and they're shaming anybody who speaks out or asks any questions. Whereas on the other hand, everything we're singing about, we can't hear each other. No. Because we're on completely different stations.
Yeah, I heard Neil Martin speak. I heard something Neil Martin said the other day, that for those that are watching that are not in Ireland, he's the Taoiseach of Ireland, and he said that they are actively marginalising any voice that is not saying what they want them to say, which I don't know why that never caused alarm bells to go off in people's heads, but anyway. So, but what
because it's been programmed from quite a while. The TV has been programming people to hate and to fear. So, like, I battle with this with my own friends and family. A lot of them don't understand where I'm coming from, because the TV has taught them to hate us. And we are crazy conspiracy theories. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I haven't watched TV for about 15 years. So I go out every day and I go, oh my God, what has the TV told you all now?
I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny, but it's hysterical as well.
You know, and, you know, like, it's just utter madness. But like, as you said, we're on different timelines. So like, you open your Facebook and I'll open mine, and what will come up on the news feed for both of us will be completely different.
Yeah.
So like, I noticed this quite a while ago. I started a page on Facebook 10 years ago because of this reason. And it's my like tabloid, it's my tabloid page, because I tried different avenues of explaining what was coming to people. And what I realized, that people were very distracted by their news feed, having just maybe full of jokes and the Kardashians and whatever. Like, I couldn't pick a Kardashian out in a lineup. So they were my niche market. I was like, they are the most distracted. I need to get through to those people. So Oscar Wilde said, if you want to tell people the truth, you have to make them laugh, or else they'll kill you. So I started.
Where are the comedians? Where are the comedians?
Yeah. So I started a page called Stop Being an Arsehole. And I used to tell a lot of jokes. I tell a lot of jokes, and then I would, I'm after to, I actually never went public to say it was me who started this either. I did it all. And I would tell them a lot of jokes, and then I'd hit them with a lesson. and I would tell them, like, it's changed a little bit since. Now I don't really put as much effort into it, to be honest. But I keep coming back with the jokes. If you can make them laugh, you know, and a lot of people from the kind of joke pages were coming, following me, and I was tricking them into learning. So
parables almost, as they as you know, I'm a great lover of story, and jokes, especially some jokes, are a story. And if you can bring that laughter in, if you can bring that story, and most stories, people can hear themselves, they can see themselves. Again, that's the arts, though. That's the whole umbrella of the arts: comedy, you know, story. It's man's way of expressing that they are completely suppressing, which is not good. But moving forward, what are your plans for the next 3 to 6 months, or for Space Connection, or yourself?
To be honest, I was never one to make a plan, because plans never work out the way they're supposed to. So I have a few ideas what I would like to achieve, but we'll see how it goes. So what I've kind of started doing is bringing it back online and trying to start up like an online community. And I'm creating a website and a shop at the moment. It's not ready yet. I was hoping to get it ready for Christmas, but it's not really looking that way, to be honest. And then hopefully collaborate with people. So look, we have no choice at the moment only to be online. Hopefully with our online connections, then we can bring it to the streets afterwards. We can bring it to the people. So what I'm kind of looking for now is people to contact me, and we'll collaborate. And at the same time, I'm offering guidance and healing via video call.
Okay, so where can people contact you? Tell us where how people can contact you and get in touch with you.
Well, it's called Space Connection. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, Space Connection, and Shakti Ji, Shakti, Ji, is on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, so Space Connection is probably the easiest way to find it.
Okay, that information will go down below. So my final question, these are your Speak Your Truth conversations. What truth would you like to share?
Well, I'm standing in my truth now. My truth is what human rights are we, and I don't like the word entitled, but entitled to, because we're not really entitled to anything, but we damn sure are entitled to human rights. And my truth is trying to find a solution that will bring us together, not apart, out of this. So my truth at the moment is really trying to keep the vibration of love and unity. I don't want to fight. People are talking about a civil war. Like, no thanks. I just want to go to Penny's so I can buy some socks. Like, what is wrong with people? What happened to peace and love, guys? You know, we'd be a lot more effective if we just like meditate, you know.
I think that's one of the coercions, unfortunately. It's something I actually wrote today. I actually believe that we are being coerced into reacting violently so that we can be further oppressed. I think the coercion into telling people you can't go and buy a pair of knickers or a pair of socks, or you can drink lots of alcohol. Even that's like, they're allowing people to drink lots of alcohol, but you can't buy a Christmas card or a birthday card for a loved one. I think they were now looking at the straws that will break the camel's back.
And guys, don't fall into this trap. Don't fall into this trap of, I said it to some people on the group last night. Look, we may not fear the virus or fear death, but we can still feed the fears, you know?
Yes.
So just have a lot of an awareness of where we're coming from. This fight, this, oh my God, rah, rah, rah. It's all chaos. So like, find the love, find the balance and the peace within ourselves, that we're unbreakable, you know. I just wish more people would meditate. Find this sacred space where you can just be quiet and extend that time. It might be difficult for people at the start. Start with 5 minutes and create a sacred space that is just for you, and do it every day, and extend that 5 minutes to 10, to next thing you're doing it for half an hour, until it just is such a discipline that you want to do it. Because we need to gain control of our minds, because our minds are being programmed constantly. And even when you're kind of seeking answers and you're seeking the truth and you're scrolling through your page all the time, and it's all the time you're talking about it. I wrote quite a satire piece the other day on my page about the Rona cult. You know, it's become a cult. It's just be very aware of what you're ingesting on your phone, media, TV. Turn it off. Put on some, like, or just be in the silence, but put on some, like, you know, either music that really makes you dance or music that really chills you out. And like, be aware of your triggers, you know. Be aware of your triggers and take responsibility for your own health.
Oh gosh, yes. I'm in the process. I said I'd written a couple of prose, and one of the things that I've written is actually running now, which is a 6-week being well adventure. And this week, meditation is there, and to start or deepen your meditation process. I actually started at 1 minute, and by the end of the week, you're doing 5. By the end of the 6 weeks, you're doing 30 minutes silence. But there's other things involved in it as well. But it is bringing things. And to be fair, I mean, the reason I first done it was to maintain my own sense of sanity and to deepen my practices and to feel that I was doing something. Because I think that's the other thing, people are feeling quite castrated and powerless.
Take back your power, guys. The only reason why you feel powerless is because you're giving your power away. Take it back.
Yeah.
You know?
Shakti, thank you.
Thank you. It was lovely.
Very much. I'm just going to say that if you just hold on 1 second. Thank you to everybody. I hope you've enjoyed conversation with Shakti as much as I have. Please like, subscribe and all of that stuff down there. Contact information so that you can connect with Shakti Ji will also be down there, as will contact information for myself. And as always, be blessed and be careful, kind and love. Bye-bye.